Hi kids, it's Josh here. Once again we are back with the Bible, and of course this is an atheist point of view. Where I'm the atheist, just the average all-American random atheist, reading from the Bible. That's the New International Version, and that is a Utah Atheist of Utah sticker in the front. But I'm reading the entire Bible the way it was written, in the order it was written, from cover to cover, one chapter at a time, because I think it's absolutely amusing and, well, hilarious. Just the way it's written, and the words they use, and the way they all run together and contradict each other, and the names they come up with, well, I find it fucking hysterical. So, but today I'm reading actually at a friend's house. She's sitting over here. She might laugh. I hope. But anyway, before I even go on, I usually start it out with a little bumper music, and I always use a little bit of, the God's touch. All right. And you can hear it too. Where I left off is Exodus chapter 39. We are almost at the end of this book too. I cannot wait. Boy, we can just jump right into Leviticus. Or Leviticus, whatever you want to call it. Anyway, I left off at Exodus chapter 39. Oh yeah, and this one is paraphrased, the priestly garments. The holy underwear. Verse 1. From the blue, purple, and scarlet yarn they made woven garments for ministering in the sanctuary. They also made sacred garments for Aaron, and the Lord commanded Moses. Alright. Once again, just one verse, one paraphrase. That's all you get. Next paraphrase, the ephod. Oh boy. This is a repeat from the previous instructions of what they should be wearing and all that shit when they're doing their burns and shit to fucking God and all that shit. Verse 2. They made the ephod of gold and of blue, purple, and scarlet yarn and of finely twisted linen. I think I got that in the previous chapter, so whatever. They hammered out thin sheets of gold and cut strands to be worked into the blue, purple, and scarlet yarn, fine linen, and work of a skilled craftsman. Skilled craftsman? It's arts and crafts, okay? Fuck! Verse 4, they made shoulder pieces for the ephod, which were attached to two of its corners, so it could be fastened. I'm glad they were thinking ahead. Its skillfully woven waistband was like this, of one piece with the ephod, and made with gold, and with blue, and purple, and scarlet yarn, and with finely twisted linen, as the Lord commanded Moses. The Lord is in charge of arts and crafts. Verse 6. They mounted the onyx stones and gold filigree, settings and engraved. I told you she might laugh. Verse 6. They mounted the onyx stones and gold filigree settings and engraved them like a seal and the names of the sons of Israel. Then they fastened them on the shoulder pieces of the ephod as memorial stones for the sons of Israel, as the Lord commanded Moses. Now, I was telling her earlier that I googled this thing. Boy, the whole ephod and the next paraphrase, breast piece, man, some ugly fucking shit. I mean, straight up tacky. God, Yahweh, you're tacky! Get the fucking fashion sense! Okay, the breast piece. First they fashioned the breast piece, the work of a skilled craftsman. They made it like the ephod of gold and of blue and purple and scarlet yarn and finely twisted linen, because we're all about arts and crafts in this fucking book. It was square or span along and a span wide and folded double. Folded double. Double trouble. Then, in the first row, there was a ruby, a topaz, and a ruby, a topaz, and a beryl. See, I've read this shit before. Yeah, this is a description of all the fucking rocks on the front of this thing. Every color, even, you have a full set, like Crayola. In the second row, a turquoise, a sapphire, and an emerald. In the third row, a jacinth. Okay. A gate, an amethyst, amethyst. That's it. In the fourth row, a chrysolite. Chrysolite. What the fuck is a chrysolite? I have to Google that shit too. God! An onyx and a jasper. They mounted in gold filigree settings. There were 12 stones, one for each of the names of the sons of Israel, each engraved like a seal with the name of one of the 12 tribes. Wasn't that just fabulous? Verse 15, for the breastpiece they made braided chains of pure gold like the rope. Oh yes, Yahweh, it's all about the fucking bling, ain't it? More bling than a motherfucker. Alright, Yahweh, next verse. Verse 16, they made 2 gold filigree settings and 2 gold rings. Gold, and more gold. And fastened the rings to 2 of the corners of the breastpiece. And they all had their own set of hose. Verse 17, they fastened the 2 gold chains to the rings of the corners of the breastpiece and the other ends of the chains of the 2 gold settings, attaching them to the shoulder pieces of the ephod at the front, also attaching it to their 2 cell phones as well. They made 2 gold rings and attached them to the other 2 corners of the breastpiece on the inside edge next to the ephod. What? That's too many corners, man. I think they fucked up. Somebody did their math wrong. Verse 20, they made 2 more gold rings and attached them to the bottom of the shoulder pieces on the front of the ephod, close to the seam, just above the waistband of the ephod. The waistband? For loom helped. They tagged the rings of the breastpiece to the rings of the ephod with the blue cord, connecting it to the waistband so that the breastpiece would not swing out from the ephod as the Lord commanded Moses to wear his pants. Okay. Next paraphrase, the other priestly garments, they had a spare. The other priestly garments, verse 22, they made the robe of the ephod entirely of blue cloth, the work of a weaver. With an opening in the center of the robe, like the opening of a collar, and a band around this opening, so that it would not tear. They were thinking ahead. Again, they made pomegranates, blue, purple, and scarlet yarn, and finely twisted linen pomegranates around the hem to the robe, and they made bells of pure gold and attached them around the hem between the pomegranates. Okay, how the fuck do they do that with a pomegranate? I know what a pomegranate is, alright? It's like a fruit. You fucking pull it apart, it's got all these little seeds with juices and shit like that. How the fuck do they weave a pomegranate into the fucking robe? Ow! That's what they said. Okay, we're gonna leave off. Oh yeah, verse 26. Bells and the pomegranates altered around the hem of the robe to the worn for ministering as the Lord commanded Moses. Of course he did. Alright, verse 27. For Aaron and his sons they made tunics of fine linen. Tunics? The work of a weaver. Of course! Back to the work of the weaver, because he's the only one who can do this shit! And the turban of the fine linen, the linen headbands, and the undergarments of finely twisted linen. The sash was finely twisted linen and purple and blue and scarlet yarn. Again! The work of an embroiderer this time. No, not the weaver. The weaver's got this one off. As the Lord commanded Moses. Hey, the embroiderer is more experienced in this kind of fucking shit. Verse 30, they made the plate, the sacred diadem. The what? The sacred diadem? Okay. Have a pure gold and engraved on it, like an inscription on a seal. Holy to the Lord! It's all in caps, and there's a different font, and so I assume they wanted me to yell that. So. Then they fastened a blue cord to it and attached it to the turban as the Lord commanded Moses. A turban? Alright, next paraphrase. Moses inspects the tabernacle, because he's an inspector now. He's got his clipboard and make sure everything's in check. Alright, verse 32. With all the work on the tabernacle, the tent of meeting was completed. Well, good. I'm glad Osha didn't get on or anything about that. The Israelites did everything just as the Lord commanded Moses. Then they brought the tabernacle to Moses, the tent of all its furnishings, its clasps, frames, crossbars, posts, and bases. That's cool. quite an inventory. The covering of the ram skin dyed red. The covering of hides of sea cows. Good old sea cows. I'm glad there was an abundant supply. And the shielding curtain, the Ark of the Testimony with its poles, and the atonement cover, the table with all its articles, and the breast of the presence. The pure gold lampstand. It's all about the lampstand. With its row of lamps and all its accessories. Car charger, whatever you need. And the oil for the light. WD-40? Or 10W30 weight. And the gold altar, the anointing oil, the fragrance incense, the curtain for the entrance to the tent. Let's not forget, we gotta make sure the curtain entrance is perfect! The bronze altar with its bronze gathering, its poles and all its utensils. The basin with its stand. Forget the stand, man. Get the stand. Curtains of the courtyard with its posts and bases. And the curtain for the entrance to the courtyard, the ropes and the tent, the entrance to the courtyard, the ropes and tent pegs for the courtyard, and all the furnishings for the tabernacle, the tent of meeting, and the woven garments worn for ministering in the sanctuary. Both the sacred garments for Aaron and the priest, and the garments for his sons when serving as priests. And the Israelites had done all the work just as the Lord had commanded Moses. Moses inspected the work and saw that they had done it just as the Lord had commanded, and Moses blessed them. Thanks, Moses. Well, once again, kids, this is Josh, and this has been the Bible and an Atheist Point of View.